back to the channel. Welcome right back. This is part 2 of Britney Spears sent warning signs for a decade. A decade, bruh. That's still, it boggles my mind. I will never understand that. People, it's like people chose not to care. Some people. But without further ado, let's get into this.
Throughout every aspect of Britney's life, including her new relationship with Charlie Ebersol. As Daily Mail reported that much like David Lucado, Charlie had to sign an NDA before even being able to go on a first date with Britney.
Serious?
Nonetheless, the relationship still blossomed, and according to Daily Mail, Charlie had gotten the stamp of approval from Britney's conservatorship and team. They cited him as normal, as he wasn't necessarily in the public eye. However, neither was David Lucado, but Charlie was different. He was born into Hollywood and understood the dark ins and outs. He was in show business, but not the public eye. And Jamie likes this a lot. So much so that Jamie allegedly set Britney up with Charlie after he pitched him a TV show. Just like he controls the ending of her relationship with David Lucado, he now controlled the beginning of her relationship with Charlie Ebersol. And as Charlie and Britney rang in the new year as a couple, outlets began reporting that Britney and Charlie wanted children. But this would be no simple task, as conservatorships like the one Britney is under completely strip the conservatee of their basic human rights and freedoms. And according to various conservatorship cases in the state of California, this can often apply to custodial rights and pregnancies. And the California Probate Code leaves a lot of gray area when it comes to sterilization. And as we've learned in the past, when you give Britney's conservatorship an inch, they take a mile. That brings us to one of the most horrifying and traumatizing allegations in this entire series. Star Magazine alleged that Jason Trawick impregnated Britney, saying in 2010 that Britney was pregnant with Trawick's baby earlier that year. However, as we all know, Britney never had Jason Trawick's baby. Now, Star Magazine never clarifies what they believe happened to that baby. However, if this is true, Britney is also in an extremely controlling conservatorship, and probate conservatorships, like Britney's, have been known to take measures against pregnancy in the past, even to go as far as sterilization. Now, keep in mind, this is from the same Star Magazine article that exposed the controversial alleged phone call between Jason Alexander and Britney, and we may never know the validity of this. However, Star Magazine has doubled down on this article in the past. Not to mention, this has been a pattern. Whether or not this specific instance is included, Britney has had nearly every fundamental human right stripped away from her. And as we know from Britney's case in particular, the probate code can be twisted and cherry-picked by any judge, as there are many clauses that give judges the final say-so to do as they see fit. And no matter what rules and laws the probate court has outlined, Britney even being in a probate conservatorship in the first place is a testament to just how easily the California probate court can be manipulated into benefiting whoever they want it to. Not to mention outside of the court, where Jamie has full control over Britney, as he's often used the custody of her own children as leverage to get her to do what he wants. This is the most heartbreaking part of Britney's conservatorship, as she's always said that she wants to have more kids, and being a mother is the most important thing in her life.
Is it harder with the boys because of the snacks and stuff?
Yes, actually, that is so true. You know, when they come up, like the snacks just pile up, and I'm constantly having to feed them, and it's like, Jesus, you know, I want some fried chicken too.
I have girls, and I'm very jealous because you have boys.
Oh, I want a girl.
Oh, you do want a girl, so later on, maybe a little girl. You just need to stay close. It might rub off, because for some reason, that's all I make right there.
I think back at like the last 10 years and what I've been through, I see my babies, and I'm like, of course, you have to believe in God.
Look at them.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I completely believe in God. How could these two beings be here without there being a God? That would be heaven for me. To have my kids on an island and a man, and no one could get to us. That's my thing. When I really love somebody, I really love somebody. Like, I give my all. Can't get enough. I have to be around them all the time. It's just the best feeling in the world. They give me that feeling.
So you're here, and you are going to announce that you are extending your Vegas?
Yes, for 3 months.
3 more months in Vegas.
And with the release of her new single with Iggy Azalea titled Pretty Girls, off of what was pegged to be her 9th studio album, Britney was entering what would be another mysterious era in her career, what some fans have dubbed Pretty World. Britney and Iggy had their debut performance at the Billboard Music Awards to promote the single. And at the time of its release and Britney's performance, fans were speculating that her new album would be called Pretty World due to the graphics behind Britney and Iggy during the performance. Though many fans believe these are just graphics for the Billboard Awards. Either way, official graphics, including a bee, were released to the public. RCA even teamed up with Uber in LA to give select riders an early listen to the song in their bee-themed vehicles.
Those of you in LA can request a special bee-branded SUV and hear the single first.
This was believed to be the initial concept for Britney Spears' 9th studio album. And with a team consisting of Sam Bruno, Matthew Coma, and others, this album was set to be another pop record, made for radio and pushed out by her team, much like Britney Jean. However, Britney didn't like this direction, and after Britney Jean, she appeared to realize some of the only leverage she had against her team in making her own decisions was recording albums. So to satisfy Britney and get her to continue recording, her team brought on Karen Kwok, who wanted to take more inspiration from In the Zone and Blackout. Thus, the sessions with Sam Bruno, Matthew Coma, and others never saw the light of day, and the entire era was shelved. We may never hear those recording sessions or the material Britney was working on during this era, but it was very clear Britney was focused on taking her 9th studio album in a different direction. She was going to take her sweet time. She even changed her tune with the media, seemingly warning her team of how long she was going to hold off on the album, saying, "I would much rather have it be completely how I want it to be. Whether that takes another year for me to do or 2 months, I have no idea at this point. But I'm not rushing anything. I just want it to be done right so that my fans will truly appreciate it." Unfortunately, this ultimately had a domino effect on the success of Pretty Girls, as the song had little to no promotion and was under Britney Spears and Iggy Azalea, so it appeared on neither of their main discographies. Iggy shifted the blame to Britney's team, saying the song flopped due to lack of promotion and only being featured, and Britney's team fired back on Britney's verified Twitter account, saying, "Can't wait to get back to Vegas. So thankful I have shows for the rest of the year to look forward to. .. Hashtag you want a piece of me." This was an especial low blow, as Iggy had recently had her entire tour canceled. Iggy even responded to a fan accusing her of shading Britney, saying, "My comment is factual. It applies to any song. I don't have to fuck the woman's 24/7 to be her friend. Do I? Bye, girls."
Britney started hinting at a 9th studio album again after scrapping the album fans dubbed as Pretty World. At this point, Britney hadn't had much control of her work and music, but she really was trying to take the reins on this album to produce something her fans would love and appreciate. So she was starting fresh, and her first move was to bring on Karen Kwok as executive producer. Karen would help Britney maintain creative control while also keeping the label happy. Karen said, "We didn't talk about the past. I can't speak for the previous albums, but here she seemed like she was present and actually having fun." While Britney was working on her upcoming album, Judge Reva Goetz retired as a probate judge. This is the judge that regularly allowed the conservatorship to take basic human rights away from Britney, such as the right to hire her own attorney, down to allowing the complete isolation of Britney by restricting her access to a phone. A new judge, Brenda J. Penny, would be assigned to Britney's conservatorship case. Also around this time, Britney was set to be deposed in the Sam Lutfi case that was revived the year prior. And for the first time, the conservatorship wasn't trying to use the probate court to stop her from testifying like they had always done. This may be because of the new judge assigned to Britney's case, and the fear that if they tried to paint Britney as too fragile to shield her from testifying again, it could cause this new judge to ask questions they may not want to answer. So instead, Britney would be allowed to give the deposition, with the only pushback from the conservatorship was asking that Sam Lutfi not be in the room with Britney, but the court denied that.
For the last 3 years, he's been trying to get her into court, and they've said she's not healthy enough to face him in court.
So was she in court the other day when Sam was there?
Yes, it finally happened.
You know, she's too fragile to be going back and forth and fighting. $800,000 is a lot to a lot of people. That's not a lot of money for peace of mind for a fragile, mentally girl, Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Pay it, Britney.
And
Leave
you know,
this man alone.
Yeah.
Britney did the hours-long deposition with Sam Lutfi in the room with no issue. She wasn't this mentally fragile person the conservatorship was painting her to be, and this started to spark questions about the legitimacy of the conservatorship. In May of 2016, the New York Times put out a major article on Britney's conservatorship, questioning why Britney, an adult woman and mother of 2 who appeared to be stable for many years at this point, was still restricted from making even the most basic of decisions
fucking
it came
sense.
to her own life.
At
the
all.
article questioned people like Sam Ingham, her court-appointed attorney that she was forced to use. He had now made $2 million from her estate. The people such as doctors who oversee Britney and could help end the conservatorship all make money from it being in place.
What?
They all have incentive to keep things as
why they want
are,
to keep
so
it.
even the people who are appointed by the courts to protect Britney benefit from keeping her powerless. Not to mention the very people controlling her, such as Jamie Spears, Andrew Wallet, and the team of attorneys had been paid $6.9 million from the conservatorship at this point. Jamie Spears was even getting 1.5% of the gross revenue from Britney's residency and merchandise.
While Spears' lawyer spoke
Why?
with his sister show, The Insider, back in 2014 about conservatorships in general, explaining why it's not unusual for them to last a lifetime.
Because a lot of times what happens is even though they're not psychotic anymore, they're not a danger to themselves anymore because you've gotten them stabilized, they still can't handle their finances. They still can't really make a medical decision that's in their best interest.
The National Association to Stop Guardian Abuse
But they
said,
can make
as long as
money
she's
in their
bringing in
best
so much
interest,
money,
though.
and as long
It
as the
doesn't make
lawyers
sense to
and
me.
conservators are getting paid, there's little incentive to end it. Usually the conservatorship just keeps going unless the conservatee makes a fuss. The New York Times article even flashed back to 2009 when Jordan Miller, owner of Breathe Heavy, a major Britney fan site, started to spark a Free Britney movement amongst fans like Meg.
I actually got involved with the Free Britney movement back in 2009 with the original movement, which was unfortunately very short-lived. I think I just immediately knew that the situation was incredibly unjust.
But Jamie Spears would quickly silence Jordan, preventing the movement from gaining any traction.
E-News correspondent Jason Kennedy spoke with Jordan Miller, the founder of BreatheHeavy.com, who says his ongoing legal battle isn't with Britney, but with her dad.
Jamie Spears pretty much told me, last fall he wanted the website shut down. He said it in, few choice words that probably won't be able to air on TV. But, he told me he was going to destroy my website and, pretty much he was just livid and yelling at me.
As for why Brit's daddy is targeting his fan site, Jordan believes it's all due to his criticism of Jamie's rule over the pop star as co-executor of her conservatorship.
Jamie Spears and his team for years controlled the narrative in the media, but that would soon begin to change as the New York Times article really started to poke some holes in the validity of the conservatorship. The conservatorship team quickly settled with Sam Lutfi, allegedly paying him just under the $500,000 it would take to continue to fight the lawsuit. This lawsuit has sparked the public to ask some questions, so making it go away was the best choice for the conservators. Britney was now gearing up to release her 9th studio album. Glory debuted at number 3 on Billboard 200. Although it was critically acclaimed, Glory was not a huge commercial success. This could be for a number of reasons, such as her label and team not doing a great job at promoting the album. However, the main response from critics was that Britney sounded more involved and present than she had in a decade, which is true. This is the most involved she had been in an album since Blackout, the last album she created before losing all of her freedoms. Glory quickly became a fan favorite, and despite commercial success, Britney made this album for her fans.
Do you see this as a comeback in your career?
I don't really see it as a comeback. I think I've never really left. I've always been here. It took me 2 years to make this, and it's been an amazing ride, and I spent really all my quality time and just my heart into this, so it's very cool. This is the first time I've really done an album that I'm more hands-on than I've ever been, so I'm really proud. It's like my baby, so it's very special.
Okay, you said your son named your album. Can you walk me through that conversation real quick with him? How does that come up?
Well, he listened to a lot of my my songs when I would record them. He'd want to, hear them out and stuff. He's like a little DJ. He's only 10, but he's a brilliant little master. And so he would listen to my stuff and say, this is good, this is good. And I was like, baby, what should I name my album? I genuinely had no idea. And he was like, Mama, you should just name it Glory. And I was like, cool, I will name it that. And it just it clicked, instantly. And I was like, this makes sense. And he was really right, actually.
However, the press tour would end after Britney herself would bring up the conservatorship for the first time since 2008's For the Record. Britney was on the Jonathan Ross show when they started discussing the creative process behind Glory. Britney said that she had been under this conservatorship for the last 3 years. A lot of decisions were made for her. She wanted Glory to be her baby, so she had to be very strategic about it. She said she was getting control of things little by little. This is when Jonathan Ross switched topics, but audience members said it looked like she really wanted to talk about it. As we know, if the media wants to interview Britney, they have to follow very strict rules. And the number one rule is never bring up the conservatorship. So the Jonathan Ross show edited out Britney speaking on the conservatorship, and just like that, the public was largely in the dark about how Britney herself felt yet again. This was a huge deal. For the first time in 8 years, Britney actually spoke out publicly about the immensely controlled situation she was in and how she was trying to get some control back. This would terrify Jamie and his team, so they would need to make sure Britney would never have the opportunity to speak up again. They would completely isolate Britney more than she already was. No more media and no more going out in public. The only social interaction she would have outside of her home life was performing her Vegas residency shows. And even then, she was heavily monitored by the trusted team in Vegas.
Honestly, without the music and just the mic, it kind of feels illegal. Like it's quiet right now. And it feels kind of illegal doing this with this mic in my hand right now. It feels so weird. Press in the media my whole life. You know, it's really crazy because 1 minute they tear you down, and it's really horrible, and the next minute you're on top of the world, you know? But I've never really spoke about it, you know? And I'm a Southern girl. I'm from Louisiana. I'm from the South, and I like to keep it real, so I just want to make sure I keep having something to talk about, okay?
Britney would be kept hidden from the public for almost 2 years.
The music video for her first single off of Glory, Make Me, represents another mysterious moment in time for Britney's career. It was going to be directed by the same person who directed the controversial Everytime video, David LaChapelle. In the Everytime video, David said that the only direction Britney gave him was that she wanted to and so he did just that. However, this concept leaked and was ultimately scrapped due to its dark nature. And unfortunately, the Make Me video would suffer a similar fate. The version of the Make Me video that David LaChapelle directed would feature men on poles in leopards, along with Britney depicted in a cage with red glitter all over her. David, who is an avid supporter of the Free Britney movement, later provided insight into the video, saying, "The only direction Britney ever gave me for this video is for me to film her in a cage. At the time, I didn't understand why you would want to be filmed in a cage. At first, I envisioned to film her as a tigress, but she wanted to be filmed more timid, like a kitten. For everyone on my team, at least, we could tell something was off." The video also features her leaving the Make Me video set with a man, only to see an eviction notice on the door from Adam and Eve. And after G-Eazy's verse, Britney demolishes the house they were in. Fans began speculating when this video leaked in 2019 that Britney was telling a story and the cage was representing her conservatorship, as that artistic choice was widely led by Britney, and she had been drawn to cages during several of her previous projects. However, a video also leaked of Britney on set where she expressed disdain with David LaChapelle's direction for the video. David LaChapelle's version was ultimately scrapped by RCA, as they wanted a tamer video and felt this version was too exposed. Even though the 2019 leak used most of David LaChapelle's shots, David said it still wasn't the final version of his concept, but a cut created by RCA, saying, "This is some of my footage. This is not my edit. I find it very suspect that the video was leaked while Britney was away, as the video leaked right as Britney was admitted into a mental facility. But we'll dive deep into that in the future." This comment confirms the notion that David LaChapelle absolutely refused to give RCA and Britney's team the footage he shot with G-Eazy, forcing them to use footage with a watermark. Previous to the final version of the video being released, Britney revealed the new concept, telling a radio station, "The video I just shot is me and all my girls. We're making guys audition for us. The whole theme is us basically playing with them. It's really kind of fun and it's interesting." This would become the official version, as Britney and David's original concept would be shelved, but only until Britney's team needed to use it as a distraction from the injustices Britney would experience in 2019. Later that year, Britney began work on a major performance at the VMA Awards with G-Eazy. This would be the first time she performed at the VMAs since she performed at the 2007 VMAs 9 years prior. MTV was marketing this as Britney's big comeback, and it was. Britney's team even used the press following her big performance to shoot another music video, this time for her hit Slumber Party with RCA label mate Tinashe. Sam Asghari, the love interest cast in this video, would soon become Britney's love interest in real life as well.
And so did you have to audition? Like, how does that work for videos?
I did not have to audition.
Was it direct
direct book, honey.
It was a direct book. A good friend of mine was working on the music video at the time. We talked on the music video. We talked about what you like to eat, sushi here and there, and then text messages, and next thing you know, they just like a normal couple.
Fans didn't know it yet, but this would turn out to be her final music video to date and would mark a huge break in Britney's career. While the dust was just settling from Glory, extremely shady things were happening behind the scenes as the original judge handling Britney's conservatorship was long gone, and Britney's new judge, Brenda Penny, canceled the oversight hearing for Britney's conservatorship. These hearings are very important to the integrity of a conservatorship as they provide checks and balances and hold all members of the conservatorship accountable for their finances. Britney's conservatorship wouldn't have to own up to any decisions they'd made on behalf of Britney for years to come, as Judge Penny canceled these hearings for 2017 and 2018 as well. Hope was running out for Britney, as the little oversight the courts had over Britney's well-being in her conservatorship had completely vanished.
Britney loved her Piece of Me show in Vegas, but after almost a 4-year run, Larry Rudolph announced that the residency would be coming to an end December 2017. He did leave it open, saying Vegas was home and contracts could still be negotiated. Britney wanted to take the Piece of Me show to fans who didn't have the opportunity to see her in Vegas. So in summer of 2017, Britney did a set of live concerts in countries she hadn't performed in before, such as Israel.
Well, apparently Britney Spears has a lot of pull in Israel. Here's the story. She has a huge concert scheduled in Tel Aviv in July. Okay. But the problem is that Israel's Labor Party has a primary election the very same day as the big concert. And
they're both doing the same dance number. So it's like, who gets it first?
And the big election is right next door to the venue. So they moved their entire election one day later to accommodate Britney Spears.
What? Before her concert, Britney did an interview with an Israeli newspaper. This was her first time speaking to the press since the Jonathan Ross show the year prior. When Britney does interviews outside of the US, it seems like she can open up more and that the conservatorship team isn't there controlling every word she speaks. The newspaper was asking her about her 20s, where Britney again shares similar sentiments as she did in 2008's For the Record. Britney said her life had been controlled by many people, that it doesn't allow you to be yourself. When you aren't in control, the excitement and passion for music fades. She also said she wished she would have given herself more breaks throughout her career to take responsibility for her mental health. She said that many decisions were made for her that she didn't make herself. At this point, it's been almost 10 years since the conservatorship was put into place, and Britney's stance has not changed as she was voicing the same concerns that she did in 2008. After summer break, Britney went home and finished out her residency. She was now heading into 2018, another busy year for her. She announced the Piece of Me summer tour that was kicking off at Brighton's Pride.
She has ruled the Las Vegas Strip for the last 5 years, and may I say she looked amazing doing it. But now she is hitting the road, and she's only talking to us about it.
I sat down exclusively with a 36-year-old for her first solo sit-down in nearly 2 years.
This round of shows that we're doing for the tour, it's like they're back-to-back. So each show is like I don't have any time apart besides flying. My show is a workout in itself, so it kind of keeps you really strong.
She won the 2018 GLAAD Vanguard Award.
Wow, this is so incredibly amazing. I wrote this speech, and it's basically, I feel like our society has always put such an emphasis on what's normal. And to be different is unusual or seen as strange. But to be accepted unconditionally and to be able to express yourself as an individual through art is such a blessing. Events like this, the one we are attending here tonight, show the world that we are not alone. We can all join hands together here and know that we are all beautiful.
Britney even said she was working on new music, but it was a big secret. Before the Piece of Me summer tour, it came out that Britney was looking to end the conservatorship of her person.
Britney Spears and boyfriend Sam Asghari are getting serious, with an insider telling us they are head over heels in love. So in love that these two could be planning for a baby. So it seems that everything is falling into place for the pop star who's ready to take control of her life again. Now that means addressing the conservatorship her father has had over her since her public breakdown in 2008. An insider tells us she wants the conservatorship of her as a person to come to an end, so she has more freedom to make her own decisions.
Basically ending the immense control her dad has over her personal life. It was part of Britney's residency contract that she basically needed to be in the conservatorship. If not, the Vegas residency could be terminated. Now that the residency was over, Britney was ready to get control back of her life.
About
The article said
time.
Jamie was discussing it with her medical team, but the timing was off due to her upcoming tour. But they would seriously consider it at the conclusion of her tour due to all the progress she has made in the last decade. But when the tour came to an end, the conservatorship over Britney's person was still in place, and there was no ending in sight. It appears Jamie would entertain the idea of the conservatorship ending just to placate Britney to keep her working so the cash flow doesn't stop.
2018 had proven to be a busy year for Britney. From presumably developing what would have been her 10th studio album to touring the world with Pitbull, she had been on the move, earning more and more money for her estate. And 2019 was scheduled to be just as busy, as Britney and her team were developing an all-new Vegas residency, and it would be titled Domination. During Domination's developmental period, Larry Rudolph described the show as different from the Piece of Me show, saying it's going to be a little bit more street, a little bit more rhythmic. It's going to feel a little cooler, but it's still going to be a classic Britney great hits show. You'll know every song, the visuals will be incredible. She'll be at 110% in terms of her performance. You're going to have amazing dancers, costumes, set pieces, video sound, amazing everything. And from the different rumored set lists and audio tracks from the rehearsal session videos, it's safe to say this would have been catered towards Britney's die-hard fans, and would have gone down as one of her best shows of all time. And as October of 2018 approached, Britney went on Ellen to announce that she had an announcement.
I actually have a huge announcement to make.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Well,
I do.
Normally we plan these things ahead of time, but I'm going to make an exception. What is your announcement?
My announcement is actually that I have an announcement.
All right.
And on October 18th, MGM lit up with graphics inspired by some of her most iconic moments, along with the newly unveiled artwork for Domination. Britney rose from the stage as workmen blasted across Las Vegas and fireworks boomed across the sky. And although fans were disappointed that Britney didn't perform after the announcement, that was quickly eclipsed by the hype surrounding the new residency.
Britney Spears is the highest paid Vegas entertainer after signing a new residency deal. Higher than J-Lo, higher than Celine, higher than whatever Mariah Carey was getting, higher than all of them. She's earning $500,000 per show.
And the cool 3D tickets already came in the mail.
Over the next few months, the show was being developed, and Britney was busy rehearsing day in and day out. However, tickets weren't selling out right away. And with Britney officially becoming the highest paid Vegas performer, this was a major problem, as many Las Vegas tourists had just seen Britney in 2017, and the tickets weren't cheap. But as opening night quickly approached, the seating chart was the least of MGM, Britney, and her team's concerns.
Britney Spears has postponed her upcoming residency Domination at the Park MGM, and she's taking an indefinite hiatus from work.
Britney Spears cancels her Las Vegas residency show due to a family crisis.
To run home and care for her father after he was hospitalized with a ruptured colon.
The singer shares the news in an Instagram post, writing, "I don't even know where to start with this because this is so tough for me to say. I will not be performing my new show, Domination.
I've been looking forward to this show and seeing all of you this year.
So doing this breaks my heart. However, it's important to always put your family first, and that's the decision I had to make."
A couple of months ago, my father was hospitalized and almost died.
We're all so grateful that he came out of it alive, but he still has a long road ahead of him.
I had to make the difficult decision to put my full focus and energy on my family at this time. I hope you all can understand. I appreciate your prayers and support for my family during this time. Thank you and love you all always.
However, soon the real story would come out.
Hi there. I cannot disclose who I am. I used to be a paralegal for an attorney that worked with Britney's conservatorship. I'm no longer with them. And what is happening is disturbing, to say the least. Britney was in rehearsals for Domination. It came to Jamie's attention that Britney was not taking her medication as prescribed.
Britney Spears has been admitted to a mental health facility.
So Jamie said, either you take this medication or the show's off.
Are you serious?
A movement would rise up.
We believe she's being held there against her will.
Yeah. To make her continue to look like she's incompetent.
My heart was pounding.
And the fans would revolt.
That shit pissed me the fuck off. You fucking kidding me? Nah, it's like no more rights at that point. Like, rights where? Who? Are you kidding me? So he's forcing her to look like she's incompetent so he could continue to be in charge. Money changed people. And this, even though he might have already been a butthole, yeah, almost hit me.
Sorry.
Even though he probably was already a butthole, this made it worse. I'm so upset.
This is insane. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.
I'm gonna eat my ice cream.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
I'm gonna eat my ice cream, but this is very disappointing.
And be kind to others. Be nice to others.
Be safe.
Do and be whatever you want to be.
Yes.
Stay awesome and stay safe.
See you guys in our next video.